The night everything started to fall apart was the night Emily Walker woke up to the sound of her son screaming. Not loud. Not dramatic. Just a small, broken whimper that sliced through the silence like a knife. She ran down the hallway, her feet cold on the hardwood floor, her heart racing before she even reached the door. When she opened it, she found 10-year-old Ethan sitting straight up in bed, clutching his stomach, tears running down his cheeks. "Mom," he whispered. "Please don't tell Dad." That sentence stopped her breath. Why would a child fear his father knowing he was hurting? Why would he hide pain from the one person who was supposed to protect him? Emily pulled him close. "What happened, sweetheart?" Ethan opened his mouth to speak, but before he did, his eyes flicked toward the hallway, as if he was afraid someone might hear. Emily didn't push. She only held him until his shaking stopped, but she didn't sleep again that night. Because something was wrong. Terribly wrong. The next morning, sunlight warmed the kitchen, but the tension in the air remained ice cold. Michael Walker, charming, handsome, well-dressed, stood at the counter with a travel mug in his hand, tapping his phone. He didn't notice his wife staring at him. He didn't see the worry in her eyes. He just said, "I have a business dinner tonight. Don't wait up." Business dinner. He always used that phrase. But Emily had found the receipts. The perfume smell on his jackets. The missing hours. The quiet phone calls he took in the driveway. She wasn't stupid. She wasn't blind. But she needed time. Time to find proof. Time to protect her son. Time to understand who, or what, was hurting her family. That afternoon, the school called. Ethan had been pushed on the playground. His backpack was torn. His lunchbox was missing. When Emily arrived, her son was sitting alone on a bench, knees scraped, eyes swollen from crying. "Ethan, honey. Who did this?" He whispered the names like a confession. Liam and Bella. Emily stiffened instantly. Those names. She had heard them before. They were Vanessa Reed's children, the woman Michael had been having business dinners with. Emily felt the world tilt, as if gravity suddenly pulled sideways. "Did they hurt you before?" she asked softly. Ethan nodded. "But you didn't tell me?" "Because..." His voice cracked. "Dad likes them. He said they're good kids. And they said he wishes he had kids like them instead of me." Emily's lungs froze. Her heart broke with a sharp, painful snap. Every word her son said felt like betrayal wrapped in glass. She hugged him tight, her mind already spinning. There were no more excuses. No more denial. Something dark was happening behind her back. 3 days later, the truth arrived at her front door. Literally. The doorbell cam sent a notification at 6:42 p.m. Emily opened it expecting a package. But instead, she saw Ethan standing outside alone, covered in mud, trembling, without his backpack, without his jacket, shivering like he had been thrown into winter. Behind him, barely visible, she caught the blurry shapes of 2 kids running away, laughing. Liam and Bella. Emily's hands shook as she opened the door. Ethan could barely speak. "They pushed me in the creek. They said I should disappear because Dad already has better kids." This time Emily didn't cry. She didn't scream. She didn't collapse. She felt something inside her rise. Slowly, coldly, with purpose. Revenge didn't always start with anger. Sometimes it started with absolute clarity. That was the night Emily realized Michael's betrayal was much bigger than cheating. He wasn't just breaking vows. He was breaking their child. And Vanessa wasn't just a mistress. She was a threat. Later that night, Emily went into the garage to get something from Michael's car. His Bluetooth system automatically loaded the last phone call. She froze. Vanessa's voice filled the car. "Michael is too easy to fool. Once he signs the remaining shares, we won't need him. And his wife. She'll never see it coming." Emily stood there, gripping the steering wheel, her heart pounding so loud she could hear it in her ears. Shares. Company documents. She had no idea Vanessa was planning something this big. And Michael. He was letting it happen. Emily walked back inside with her jaw tight and her vision steady. She knew what she had to do. Watch. Record. Collect. Prepare. Because she wasn't going to warn Michael. She wasn't going to face Vanessa yet. No. She was going to destroy them both. Slowly, quietly, completely. That night, after Ethan fell asleep, Emily checked the doorbell camera again. And she froze. A new clip had been added automatically. Time-stamped 10 minutes after Ethan came home. In the footage, Vanessa herself walked up to the door, leaned close to the camera, and whispered, "Tell your son to stay silent. Or next time, he won't come home crying." He won't come home at all. Emily's blood turned to ice. Because now, this wasn't cheating. This wasn't bullying. This wasn't petty jealousy. This was a threat. And threats have consequences. Emily didn't sleep the night Vanessa threatened her child. She sat on the living room floor, knees pulled to her chest, the glow of the doorbell camera playing in the dark like a warning she couldn't ignore. Replay. Pause. Replay again. Every time she heard the whisper, "He won't come home at all." Her spine stiffened, her jaw tightened, and her heart turned into something iron hard. Emily Walker had always been gentle, soft-spoken, patient. But gentle didn't mean weak. And patient didn't mean blind. For the first time in her life, she realized that she would have to protect her son alone. Not with Michael, but from Michael. When morning light filled the kitchen, Michael walked in humming, unaware of the storm forming behind him. "Morning," he said casually, grabbing a protein bar. Emily didn't respond. He didn't notice. He only said, "So, I might be home late tonight." "Another business D," she cut him off. "Vanessa again?" Michael froze. "What? No. Why would you think?" But Emily only stared at him with calm, cold eyes. She wasn't yelling. She wasn't accusing. She was studying him. Like prey. Michael swallowed and forced a laugh. "You're being dramatic, Em. It's work. You always do this." But Emily didn't always do this. Not like this. For the first time, he felt her silence like a threat. She let him leave without another word. As soon as his car pulled out of the driveway, her real work began. Emily started by turning her home into a quiet recording machine. She installed a baby cam's hidden inside fake plants or a second doorbell camera facing the street or a tiny sound recorder under Michael's desk or a motion detector in the garage or a backup recorder on the Wi-Fi router, not because she wanted to spy on her husband, but because she needed to know exactly how deep the betrayal went. By noon, she had 3 hours of footage from the previous week. And it was worse than she imagined. On one of the saved clips, Michael sat in his office whispering into his phone. Emily watched from her laptop, arms wrapped around herself. "Michael. Relax, Vanessa. I'll have the shares signed soon. Emily won't suspect anything. She's too busy with the kids." Her stomach twisted. Shares. Again. For years she helped Michael build his company. Late nights, financial sacrifices, managing the home so he could have a career. And now he was giving everything to a woman who threatened their son? Emily took a breath. Slow, deep, steady. Real revenge was not loud. Real revenge was collected. And she was collecting. Till lunchtime, Emily drove to Ethan's school. She asked for hallway footage, pretending she lost something. The principal hesitated, but Emily was calm and convincing. When the footage loaded, she saw exactly what she feared: Liam and Bella pushing Ethan into lockers. Liam kicking his backpack. Bella shoving his lunch on the floor. All while smiling sweetly when adults passed by. There was no anger left in Emily. Only ice. She asked for a copy. The school handed it to her without realizing they had just given her ammunition. Next, she went to Mrs. Parker, the neighbor who always saw everything. "Mrs. Parker," Emily asked gently, "have you noticed the Reed kids around here?" The older woman adjusted her glasses. "Oh yes, dear. Those kids are something. I saw them push your boy last week near the sidewalk. He dropped all his drawings. Emily kept her voice steady. Did you record anything? Your porch cam faces the street, right? The woman blinked. Oh, yes. Let me check. 2 minutes later, another clip appeared. Ethan holding his drawings proudly. Liam tearing them. Bella calling him pathetic. Emily felt the air leave her lungs, but she didn't break. She only said, "Thank you," and walked back home with the video in her hand and a storm in her chest. That evening, while Michael was still working late, Emily searched his office drawer. She found unsigned share transfer forms, emails between Michael and Vanessa, messages where Vanessa planned the takeover, or a spreadsheet of the company's board members, the date of a board meeting 2 weeks away, and at the bottom, a printed note in Vanessa's handwriting. Once he signs everything, we'll push him out. He doesn't know business like I do. And his wife. She's too naive to fight back. Emily placed the paper down. Naive. Weak. Blind. They had no idea what kind of woman they were provoking. To midnight, Michael finally returned home. Emily pretended to be asleep. He whispered into his phone as he entered the bathroom. She recorded every word. Michael. Don't worry, babe. I'll tell Emily I want a divorce after my birthday dinner. She won't cause trouble. She never does. Emily didn't blink. She didn't flinch. But then, Michael said one more sentence. A sentence that changed everything. And yeah, Ethan will get over it. He has to. Once I move in with you, your kids will be his new family. Emily opened her eyes in the dark. Fully awake. Fully aware. Fully done. Michael wasn't only planning to leave her. He was planning to replace their son. There was no forgiveness after that. Only the plan. The birthday dinner. The expose. The destruction. The revenge. Emily woke up the next morning with a mind sharper than fear, steadier than anger. She didn't tremble anymore. She didn't hope Michael would change. She had crossed into a different kind of strength. The strength of a mother who had run out of tears. The house was quiet. Michael had already left. Ethan was still asleep, curled under his blue blanket, breathing softly. Emily stood in the doorway watching him, her heart tightening. "This is for you," she whispered. "Everything I'm about to do is for you." Before the coffee even finished brewing, Emily opened her laptop and made a list. A dangerous list. A secret list. A list no one could ever see. At the top she wrote, "Reveal. Michael's birthday. 18 days left." Below it, a doorbell footage. A school hallway clips. A neighbor porch camera video. A audio recordings. Car plus bathroom. A share transfer documents. A Vanessa's notes. A her phone threats. A screenshots of messages. A Liam and Bella bullying clips. A Vanessa's financial calculations. A meeting with company board. A seating plan for birthday dinner. A projector setup. A backup generator. Emergency lighting shut off. Her hand didn't shake once. For the next few days, Emily transformed into a shadow inside her own home. She didn't argue. She didn't ask where Michael was going. She didn't protest the late nights, the perfume on his collar, the missed dinners. She simply smiled softly and said, "Okay." Michael misread that smile. He thought it meant weakness. He thought it meant surrender. He thought he had already won. But silence can be the sharpest, deadliest weapon. Especially when a woman is planning your downfall. On Thursday evening, Emily walked into the kitchen holding 2 glasses of wine. Michael looked surprised. She rarely drank. "Thought we could spend a little time together," she said gently, sliding a glass toward him. He blinked. Sure. Yeah." They sat at the counter, the warm kitchen light glowing between them. Emily watched him over the rim of her glass. "Your birthday is coming," she said quietly. "I want to make it special." He grinned, pleased with himself. "Really? You're planning something. I am, she replied, eyes soft and steady. Something big. Something unforgettable. He didn't hear the double meaning. He didn't hear the storm behind her calm voice. Instead, he leaned back proudly. I'm glad, Em. Maybe this is our fresh start. She nodded slowly. Inside her, the words echoed. Fresh start for me. Crash landing for you. 2 days later, Emily met with one of Michael's company board members, Mr. Dawson, an older man with sharp eyes who always liked her. They met at a coffee shop far from town. She placed the evidence on the table, one item at a time. A Michael's emails. A Vanessa's plan to take shares. The audio recording of Vanessa mocking Michael. Her handwritten note about pushing him out. Mr. Dawson's face tightened. Emily, this is real. I wish it wasn't. He rubbed his forehead. This could ruin the company. Vanessa wants to drain our accounts. Emily leaned forward. I need the board members at Michael's birthday dinner. Quietly. No warning. I need them to see everything with their own eyes. Mr. Dawson hesitated. This is dangerous. Emily met his gaze without blinking. So is letting them succeed. After a long silence, he nodded. You'll have the board. All of them. She smiled faintly. Thank you. The trap was now halfway built. Emily spent the entire weekend setting up the projector in the dining room. She disguised it inside a decorative lantern. She tested the light dimmer. She tested the remote shut-off switch for the house circuits. She tested the backup generator that would power the projector even if the lights were cut. She practiced the sequence. Candles blow out. Emily flips the hidden switch. Lights drop. A screen flashes on. Footage begins. Silence breaks. Truth explodes. Every test went perfectly. She didn't allow a single mistake. On Monday afternoon, Emily received a call. The school nurse. Mrs. Walker. Ethan's face is swollen. He said he bumped into a locker. Emily rushed to the school. But when she saw Ethan, eye bruised, lip bleeding, she knew the truth. She knelt beside him. Honey, who did this? Ethan didn't speak. But his small hand pointed, shaking, toward the playground fence. Liam and Bella stood there, smiling at her, like they were proud of what they had done. Emily didn't shout. She didn't cry. She just bent down and whispered softly into Ethan's hair. Sweetheart, Mommy is almost finished. That night, Emily went through Vanessa's social media again, looking for anything useful. At 11:22 p.m., she found it. A private post Vanessa had accidentally made public for a few minutes before deleting. A photo of Michael at a restaurant, smiling, relaxed, totally unaware. The caption read, Soon everything he owns will be ours. Emily screenshotted it. Her evidence folder was now complete. Her plan was airtight. Her timing was perfect. Just before midnight, Emily walked into the kitchen to get water. Michael's phone buzzed on the counter. A message preview lit up the screen. Vanessa, did you tell her we're announcing the engagement after your birthday dinner? Emily stood completely still. Engagement. He was planning to propose to the woman who threatened her son. At his own birthday dinner? Emily didn't feel anger. She felt purpose. Laser-sharp purpose. She whispered to herself. Good. Let them come. Let them all come. The dinner would bury them both. On Tuesday morning, Emily woke with the kind of calm that comes only after a decision has already been made. No more wondering. No more hoping. No more waiting. Today, she would send the invitations. Today, the trap would open its first quiet door. Emily started with the hardest one. Vanessa Reed. She drafted a message unlike any she ever imagined sending. Hi Vanessa. I think it's time we stop being distant. Michael's birthday is coming, and I want to surprise him. He speaks so highly of you and your children. Please bring Liam and Bella. It would mean a lot to him. And to me, Emily. She read it twice. It felt like a lie covered in honey. But that's exactly why Vanessa would believe it. She hit send. 5 minutes later. Vanessa. Of course. I'm so glad you're ready to be mature about everything, Redheart. We'll be there. Emily stared at the heart emoji. The same hands that typed that heart had shoved her son into lockers. The same lips that wrote that message had threatened Ethan's life. The same woman was planning to steal her husband, his company, and his future. Emily blocked the emoji from her mind and moved on. Next, she emailed Michael's company board members under the subject line. Important. Please attend Michael Walker's birthday dinner. Confidential. In the body, she wrote, there is urgent information regarding Michael's company decisions that you must see in person. Do not warn him. This concerns your shares, the company's safety, and the future of all board members. Emily Walker. She attached nothing, because the proof would arrive in motion, on a wall, in a dining room filled with stunned silence. Every board member replied within an hour. We'll be there. Understood. Say no more. The final chess pieces fell into place. When Michael returned home that evening, Emily greeted him at the door with a soft smile. I invited a few people for your birthday dinner, she said lightly. Oh. Who? Some friends. Some family. Just people you care about. Michael smirked. He thought she was trying to repair the marriage. Thanks, Em. You didn't have to. He kissed her forehead. She didn't move. He didn't notice. As he walked into the living room, she whispered under her breath. No, I didn't have to. But I will. The next 3 days, Emily cleaned the house like a woman expecting guests. But nothing she did was actually for guests. It was all for the reveal. She dusted the shelves, so the camera hidden inside the plant recorded clearly. She rearranged the dining room, so every board member had a direct view of the projector wall. She polished the chandelier, so no reflection would give away the hidden lens. She even practiced her greeting smile in the hallway mirror. Soft, warm, completely fake, but convincing. During all this, Ethan watched her quietly. He felt the change. He sensed the shift. One night he asked in a small voice, Mom, is Dad leaving us? Emily knelt in front of him, cupping his cheeks gently. No, sweetheart, she said in a calm, steady whisper. He already left. He just doesn't know it yet. But you're staying with me. Always. Ethan nodded slowly, trusting her in the way children trust only one person in the world, their mother. She kissed his forehead. Go to sleep, baby. Mommy's taking care of everything. On the day before Michael's birthday, Emily bought the cake. A beautiful chocolate cake with gold frosting. The bakery lady asked, would you like us to write anything on it? Emily thought for a moment. Then, with a small, dangerous smile, she said, just write. To the truth. When she brought it home, she placed it on the counter. Michael walked in, saw the cake, and grinned. You're going all out this year, he said, touching her waist. She stepped away gently. He laughed, thinking she was teasing. I can't wait, he said. He meant it. He had no idea. That night, after Michael fell asleep, Emily rehearsed the sequence again. She walked into the dining room. She checked. The remote under the napkin. The dimming switch hidden in her sleeve. The lantern projector. The backup battery. The sound volume. The order of videos. The last frame, the one that would end everything. She tested the candles. When she blew them out, they flickered dramatically, exactly as planned. It was perfect. It was airtight. It was going to break the world in one night at 1:14 a.m. As she finished the final test, she heard a vibration. Michael's phone again. She glanced toward the bedroom. He was asleep. She picked up the phone. A new message. From Vanessa. And this time, it wasn't a heart emoji. It wasn't teasing. It wasn't about shares. It was a picture. A picture of a diamond ring sitting in Vanessa's palm. The message said, "Tomorrow night, after the dinner, you propose. Or everything is off." Emily stared at the ring. Cold. Shiny. Deadly. She looked toward the dark hallway. Then she whispered. Perfect timing. The evening of Michael Walker's birthday began with a calm so unnatural it felt staged. Like the world was holding its breath, waiting for something impossible to hide. Emily stood at the top of the stairs, watching the sun sink behind the neighborhood rooftops. Every fading ray felt like a countdown. She smoothed her dress, exhaled slowly, and whispered to herself, "Showtime." Downstairs, the long dining table glowed softly beneath warm lights. Cream-colored plates, crystal glasses, golden cutlery. Everything perfect. But the perfection was a costume. Inside the decorative lantern in the center of the table, the hidden projector waited. Silent. Loaded. Ready to slice the night open. Emily checked her sleeve, feeling the switch taped under the fabric. One small move of her fingers and the entire house would go dark. Everything was prepared. Everything. At 6:32 p.m. The first knock came. Emily opened the door with her practiced soft smile. It was Mr. Dawson, the senior board member. His eyes moved from her face to her posture, seeing more than she said. "Are you sure you want to do this?" he whispered. Emily nodded, calm and steady. "It's time everyone sees who he really is." Mr. Dawson stepped inside without another word. Behind him came Ms. Harper, another board member, followed by 3 more. They shook Emily's hand gently, quietly, respectfully. Most of them had known her for years, longer than Vanessa had ever existed in Michael's world. Now they walked into the Walker home as silent witnesses, as judges, as observers. As the final audience, at 6:49 p.m., Michael came downstairs wearing a navy blue shirt. He froze when he saw the board members sitting in the living room. "Oh, wow, what are you all doing here?" Emily stepped forward before anyone else could speak. "I invited them," she said with a warm smile. "I thought your birthday would be the perfect chance for everyone to bond outside work." Michael laughed, surprised but pleased. "You did great, Em." "Really?" She nodded. Yes, she did. Just not the way he thought. At exactly 7:02 p.m., the doorbell rang again. But this time, the board members straightened. Emily's fingers curled slightly. Michael's smile stretched wider than usual. Emily opened the door. And there they were. Vanessa Reed, dressed in a tight red dress that screamed confidence. A diamond bracelet sparkling on her wrist. Lip gloss shining like she came ready to take pictures. Beside her stood Liam, smirking. Bella, arms crossed. Both dressed like perfect little angels. "Emily," Vanessa chirped. "You look lovely." Emily smiled back. "Thank you for coming." The most polite lie spoken that night. Vanessa walked inside, holding Michael's gaze as if Emily were invisible. Michael blinked, almost guilty, almost proud, almost caught. He whispered, "I didn't know you invited them." Emily touched his arm lightly. "I told you, tonight is special." The words made him shiver. But he didn't know why. Everyone slowly moved toward the dining table. Emily directed the board members to sit opposite the projector wall. Michael sat at the head of the table. Vanessa sat directly beside him, smiling like she already belonged there. Liam and Bella took their seats. And across from them sat Ethan. The moment they saw him, they smirked. But Ethan kept his eyes down, gripping his spoon tightly. Emily placed her hand gently on his shoulder. "You're safe," she whispered. He nodded. Vanessa noticed. But she thought Emily was just trying to be a good mother. She still didn't understand the danger she was walking into. Food was served. Small talk floated across the table. Michael laughed loudly. Vanessa giggled too much. The board members exchanged uneasy glances. Emily sat quietly at the opposite end, drinking water instead of wine. Her heart wasn't racing. It was steady, prepared, ready. Halfway through dinner, Vanessa leaned toward Michael and whispered loudly enough for Emily to hear. "I can't wait for our surprise later." Emily almost smiled. She had a surprise too. A bigger one. A louder one. A deadlier one. At 8:11 p.m., Emily stood up. "I'll bring the cake now," she said softly. Michael grinned like a king waiting to be crowned. Vanessa adjusted her hair. The board members sat straighter. Ethan watched his mother with wide eyes. Emily walked into the kitchen, lighting the candles on the cake. Each flame small and bright, dancing gently in the dim light. She carried it out slowly. Everyone clapped. Michael laughed and leaned forward to blow out the candles. Emily didn't stop him. She only watched. When he blew, the flames dimmed, flickered, and died. And on that last flicker, Emily pressed her hidden switch. The entire house went dark. Silent. Complete. Gripping. Gasps filled the room. Vanessa shrieked softly. The board members froze. Michael stood halfway from his chair. And then, a bright white flash blasted across the dining room wall. The projector turned on. And the first video began playing. Not of Michael. Not of Vanessa. But of Liam and Bella shoving Ethan into the mud, laughing as he cried. Their voices echoed across the room. Loud. Clear. Undeniable. Vanessa's smile fell off her face. Michael's eyes widened. And Emily whispered into the dark. "Dinner is served." For 5 full seconds, no one in the Walker dining room breathed. The room was dark except for the blazing projector light. On the wall, bigger than life, Ethan's small body hit the mud again as Liam shoved him. Bella laughed. Liam stomped on Ethan's backpack. The audio was painfully clear. "Dad likes us more than you." Ethan flinched, gripping the edge of his chair. Emily placed a calm hand on his shoulder. Vanessa's red lipstick trembled. Michael stared, stunned, mouth slightly open. Finally, Vanessa snapped. "Turn it off. This is taken out of context." Emily didn't even look at her. She pressed a button on the remote hidden in her palm. The next clip appeared instantly. The school hallway footage filled the wall. A Liam slamming Ethan's back against a locker. A Bella tripping him so he fell on his books. The 2 siblings laughing as Ethan picked up torn papers. An adult walking past, totally unaware. One of the board members muttered, "Good Lord." Michael rubbed his forehead, pale. Vanessa hissed, "Kids fight. It's normal." Emily finally turned her head toward her. Her voice was calm. Dead calm. "Threats aren't normal." Vanessa froze. Because Emily hadn't shown the threat clip yet. The projector switched again. This time showing the doorbell camera. Ethan, soaked and shaking, stood at the door that cold, muddy night. 10 minutes later, Vanessa's face filled the camera frame. Her whisper echoed across the silent room. "Tell your son to stay silent, or next time he won't come home crying." He won't come home at all. The entire table went still. Michael stopped breathing. He looked at Vanessa, horrified. What did you say to my son?" Vanessa's mouth opened and closed like she couldn't form words. Emily didn't give her time. She pressed the button again. Michael's car audio came on. Vanessa's voice filled the speakers. "Michael is too easy to fool. Once he signs the rest of the shares, we won't need him. And his wife. She'll never see it coming." Gasps erupted around the table. Michael turned red, shame red, anger red. The board members exchanged furious looks. Vanessa panicked. That's edited. You edited that." Emily ignored her. She clicked again. The screen now displayed. Michael's secret emails. A transfer forms giving Vanessa part of the company. A Vanessa's spreadsheet calculating how much she would gain. Her handwritten note. Once he signs everything, we push him out. The board members erupted. Is this real? How long has this been going on? She planned a takeover. She targeted us. Michael stared at the documents, his hands shaking. This. Vanessa. What is this? Vanessa jumped up from her chair. This is ridiculous. Emily is manipulating you. Emily pressed the button again. On the wall appeared the photo from Vanessa herself. Michael smiling beside her at dinner. The caption she wrote. Soon everything he owns will be ours. Michael felt like he had been punched. Vanessa screamed. I didn't post that publicly. It was private. Emily turned toward her, slowly. You made it public by accident for 8 minutes. That's all I needed. Vanessa lunged like she wanted to snatch the remote, but a board member stepped between them. Sit down, he growled. Vanessa backed away, trembling. Michael's voice came next. His own words, betrayal in every syllable, played across the room. Don't worry, babe. I'll tell Emily I want a divorce after my birthday dinner. She won't cause trouble. She never does. Michael's face twisted in agony. Emily. But Emily raised a hand. She wasn't done. The last clip began. Michael again. And yeah, Ethan will get over it. Once I move in with you, your kids will be his new family. The board members sat back in their chairs, horrified. One of them whispered. He was going to hand the company to a woman who threatened his own child. Emily let the final words echo through the room before pressing the power button. The projector shut off. Darkness took over again. Then the lights flickered back on. Cold, bright, merciless. Michael stood slowly, his voice breaking. Emily. I didn't know. Vanessa, she. Emily cut him off gently. You didn't know because you didn't want to know. You wanted excitement. You wanted attention. And you let her hurt our son to get it. Michael looked at Ethan, horrified. Ethan, buddy. I didn't. Ethan hid behind his mother's arm. Vanessa snapped out of her shock and screamed at Emily. You ruined everything. You manipulative. But Emily stepped forward, calm as a glacier. No, Vanessa. You ruined everything when you touched my child. Board members stood up, forming a loose circle around Emily and Ethan. Michael collapsed into his chair, defeated. Vanessa grabbed Liam and Bella by their arms. Come on. We're leaving. But Emily pointed to the living room doorway. 2 security guards, board hired, stepped in. One of them said, Ma'am, you're not leaving until we call the police. Vanessa's face drained of color. Her children looked petrified for the first time in their lives. Michael tried to speak again, shaking. Emily, please. I can fix this. Emily looked at him with a calmness that cut deeper than anger. You already broke it. Then she walked toward the front door. Before leaving, she leaned close to Vanessa's ear and whispered, Your biggest mistake wasn't loving him. It was touching my children. The board members followed her. Michael and Vanessa sat frozen in the ruins of their own deceit. The night wasn't over. The consequences were only beginning. When the projector went dark and the lights came back on, it was like the world had split into 2. The side where truth lived, and the side where Michael and Vanessa were left standing. Exposed, shaking, cornered. Emily walked out with the board members behind her. Ethan clung to her hand, his small fingers shaking, but his steps were steady. For the first time in months, he wasn't scared. He was safe. But inside the Walker home, a storm was about to begin. Soon as Emily stepped outside, the board members surrounded her. Ms. Harper spoke first. Emily, we had no idea. We're so sorry. Mr. Dawson added, You saved the entire company tonight. Vanessa intended to drain millions. Emily nodded quietly. I only did what a mother had to do. They exchanged looks, respectful, heavy, serious. Then Mr. Dawson cleared his throat. The board has already decided, he said. Michael will be removed from his position tomorrow morning. Emily blinked. So soon? We don't have a choice, Ms. Harper said firmly. His negligence enabled a hostile takeover. His lack of judgment nearly destroyed us. And as of tonight, the board no longer trusts him. Emily didn't smile. This wasn't joy. This wasn't revenge for revenge's sake. This was justice. And you, Mr. Dawson added, will be offered a role on the leadership committee. You understand the company better than he does. Emily froze. A role. Her. The woman everyone dismissed as just a wife. She inhaled softly. I'll think about it, she said. But the truth was already forming inside her. She wasn't going to live in Michael's shadow anymore. While the board spoke outside, chaos erupted inside. Michael stood in the dining room, his breathing fast, his face pale. He grabbed his hair with both hands. What have I done? Oh God, what did I do? His voice broke as he sank into a chair. The cake candles were still smoking in front of him. That small detail, the tiny smoke drifting up, made the whole night feel unreal. The documents on the projector wall were still burned into his mind. Shares, betrayal, takeover, threats. He felt like he was watching the ruins of his life fall in slow motion. He whispered into his hands. I lost my wife, my son, and now my career. But the truth was worse. He lost them long before tonight. Tonight only revealed it. Vanessa, on the other hand, wasn't collapsing. She was exploding. Her heels clicked wildly on the hardwood as she paced, her hair sticking to her sweaty forehead. This is your fault, she screamed at Michael. You let her record everything. You let this happen. Michael snapped. My fault. You threatened my son. You used me. You tried to take my company. Vanessa scoffed. Oh please. You followed me like a puppy. You wanted me. Don't pretend you're innocent. Liam and Bella sat frozen on the couch, silent for the first time in their lives, eyes wide with fear. They had never seen their mother fall apart. They had never seen the world not bend for her. Tonight, it didn't bend. It broke. The two security guards stepped forward. Ms. Reed, you need to stay seated. The police have been called regarding the threat against the child. Vanessa spun around, horrified. Threat. It was a joke. But the guard shook his head. The camera recording is enough to open a case. Vanessa's knees shook. She sank into the chair like her bones gave up. For the first time all night, she didn't shout. She didn't argue. She didn't fake anything. She simply stared at the floor. A woman stripped of her power. Outside, Emily stood with Ethan as the board members prepared to leave. Michael suddenly stumbled onto the porch. Emily, please. Please talk to me. She turned slowly. His voice trembled. I'm sorry. I was stupid. I was selfish. I thought she cared about me. I thought. Emily's voice was calm, steady, devastating. You thought you were smarter than everyone. You thought lying made you powerful. You thought cheating made you desirable. She stepped closer, her eyes unwavering. But what hurt most wasn't what you did to me. It was what you allowed her kids to do to our son. Michael's eyes filled with tears. I didn't know. You didn't want to know. And the shares. I wasn't thinking. You never thought, she said softly. That was always the problem. He reached out for Ethan. Buddy, please. I'm still your dad. Ethan hid behind Emily's leg. Michael's hand dropped helplessly. Emily spoke again. We're leaving. And tomorrow, you'll lose your job. The board already decided. Michael staggered back as if she had slapped him. You're destroying me. Emily shook her head gently. No, Michael. You destroyed yourself. I just turned on the lights. As Emily walked down the driveway with Ethan, Michael followed a few steps behind. Emily, please don't go. She stopped, turned, looked directly into his broken eyes, then said the sentence that crushed the last piece of him. You weren't the victim tonight. You were the lesson. Michael fell to his knees. Vanessa watched from the doorway, mascara running, her perfect world shattered. The board members got into their cars. Security guarded the door. Emily continued walking, holding Ethan's hand tightly. The night air was cold, but for the first time in a long time, Emily felt warm, alive. Free.as Emily buckled Ethan into the car, her phone buzzed. A message from the board. Your leadership role starts Monday. Welcome to the top. Emily stared at the message, then smiled. Not out of pride, but out of closure. The fall of Michael and Vanessa was complete. But the final scene, the one that would seal everything, was still waiting. And that moment would come tomorrow. The morning after the dinner explosion felt strangely quiet, as if the entire world had paused just to watch what Emily Walker would do next. Sunlight filtered through the curtains of the guest room she slept in with Ethan. He lay beside her, curled up like a small survivor who had finally found peace. Emily brushed his hair gently. Wake up, sweetheart. Today is a new day. Ethan opened his eyes slowly. Are we going home? Emily shook her head. No. We're going to start fresh. And for the first time in months. Ethan smiled. At 9:13 a.m., Emily received a call. Mr. Dawson's calm voice filled the room. It's done, he said. Michael has been removed from his position effective immediately. Emily closed her eyes, breathing deeply. And Vanessa? The police took her statement this morning regarding the threat to your son. She's under investigation. Her kids are facing school disciplinary action. She will not be stepping near the company again. Emily felt no joy, just relief. A silent, steady kind. Mr. Dawson continued. The board voted to give you temporary leadership responsibilities while we restructure. We hope you'll accept a permanent role. Emily looked at Ethan, who was now playing with the hotel remote, laughing at the TV. Yes, she said quietly. I'll accept. Not for power. Not for revenge. For stability. For Ethan by noon, Emily returned to the house with 2 security officers to collect her things. The home felt unfamiliar now. Cold, drained, hollow. Michael sat on the living room floor, surrounded by empty bottles, unshaven, eyes swollen. He looked up when she walked in. Emily. She didn't stop. She went straight upstairs, packed Ethan's clothes and toys, folded her own things neatly, and carried everything down without speaking. It took 1 hour. Michael didn't move from the floor. Finally, as she neared the door, he found the strength to speak. Please, don't take Ethan from me. Emily paused. I'm not taking him away. You can see him. But not until you're stable. Not until you learn to be a father. His shoulders shook. I lost everything. Emily answered softly, not cruelly. No, Michael. You let everything go. He pressed his forehead to the ground. I never meant to hurt him. I never meant. She cut him off gently. Intentions don't erase actions. He sobbed. She stepped outside. She didn't look back. Not even once. 2 days later, the board finalized the paperwork. Michael's shares were frozen. Vanessa was formally banned from entering company property. Child Protective Services opened an inquiry into Liam and Bella's repeated bullying and the threat Vanessa whispered. And Emily. Emily became the person everyone came to for decisions. She didn't brag. She didn't gloat. She didn't celebrate. She worked. Steady. Calm. Focused. Because she had already won the only victory that mattered. A safe life for her child. The following week, Ethan started therapy. He drew pictures of superheroes again. He slept peacefully again. He ate without fear again. One afternoon he hugged Emily tightly and said, "Mom, I'm not scared of them anymore." Emily felt tears press against her eyes for the first time in days. "That's because you're brave," she said. "No," he whispered. "It's because you protected me." Emily kissed his forehead. But deep inside, she knew the truth. He protected her too. He gave her a reason to rise. Vanessa tried calling Michael multiple times. He didn't answer. She sent messages. "We can fix this. You promised me. She set you up. We should run away together." But Michael never replied. He was too broken, too ashamed, too lost. And Vanessa. Her shiny life cracked open as rumors spread. As she threatened a child. As she manipulated a married man. As she tried a hostile takeover. As she used her kids as tools. Her clients dropped her. Her broker license was suspended. Her reputation burned to ashes in public silence. She stood alone in her empty apartment, surrounded by boxes and unpaid bills. The queen she imagined herself to be had been dethroned by a mother's quiet war. 2 weeks later, Emily returned to the Walker home one last time to pick up leftover documents. Vanessa was there. She had shown up desperate, wild-eyed, mascara smudged. "You ruined my life," Vanessa screamed. Emily didn't flinch. "You ruined your own life," she replied calmly. Vanessa took a shaky step closer. "You took my future. My money. Emily held up a hand. "No. I took back what you tried to steal." Vanessa shook, fury trembling through her. "Why couldn't you just stay quiet?" she spat. Emily stepped closer until they were inches apart. Her eyes, calm, cold, certain, held Vanessa in place. And then Emily whispered the final words that would haunt Vanessa for years. "Your biggest mistake wasn't loving him. It was touching my children." Vanessa stumbled back as if she'd been physically hit. Emily walked out without another word. The door shut behind her. Loud enough to be final. Months later, Emily bought a new home. Bright. Warm. Full of plants and sunlight. Ethan had his own art room. His drawings now hung on the walls. Superheroes, sunsets, and one picture of a woman standing in front of a giant shadow. "You made it look like I'm strong," Emily said. Ethan smiled proudly. "That's because you are." Emily hugged him tightly. Her new life wasn't perfect, but it was real, safe, free. The storm was over, and she was finally standing in the sunshine. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy the story, please hit the like button, subscribe, and click the bell icon. Comment below for more stories like this. Your support means the world to us.